Hi YouTube, good evening. I am here to discuss the patch notes that have just been announced on the Hearthstone Twitter page. So I grabbed the link, I insta started recording. I haven't looked at them yet, and I haven't really looked at the teasers yet either that they posted earlier this week. So honestly, I don't really know what the patch is going to be about. I know there are some nerfs and some buffs. And I can see Anubracon's artwork there, so I'm gonna assume there is an Anubracon nerf. It's not gonna be a buff. But before we look at the patch notes, I want to ask you one thing. I want you to comment in the comment section below. Do you like it that we have such regular patches now these days? Like, I feel like every few weeks we have a balance patch with like nerfs and buffs, and it's happening way more frequently than it used to in the past. And personally, I think it's a good thing because it keeps the game fresh. But I also feel like maybe the game is just not as balanced as it used to be. Whenever a new expansion hits, I feel like it's just not that balanced, right? So we spend a few weeks testing the cards, seeing what's strong, what isn't, and then we get like these balance patches all the time. So I feel like maybe at the start of the expansion, there should be a bit more playtesting, maybe, I don't know. Because, well, I feel like when an expansion hits, it should be fun to play instantly and not dealing with overpowered stuff all the time. But that's just me, and I'm wondering how you feel about it. But for now, let's have a quick look at the patch notes. Here we are. So, patch 26.2.2 launching today includes the following bug fixes and updates to Hearthstone, Battlegrounds, and Duels. Okay, so it's a big patch for Standard, Battlegrounds, and Duels. So let's have a look only at Standard because I don't really play the other modes. So, dev comment. Overall, the meta is in a pretty good spot right now. I'm not sure about that, but okay. With lots of competitive options for players across almost every class. This is our opportunity to some adjustments that hit a fewer power outliers and play experience outliers. Okay. We're also including a few buffs that we hope will give players a few more neutral options and open up some space for the weaker classes. Warrior, please? Okay. Following cards have been adjusted to be less powerful. Sinful Brand. Oh, thank God. Thank God. Everyone these days on my ladder was playing Spell Demon Hunter, and it is so mega frustrating. Let's see. Old. Brand an enemy minion. Whenever it takes damage, deal 2 damage to enemy hero. Okay. It's changing to deal 1, which is making it much, much harder for them to OTK with double Sinful Brand on a big minion, right? Because, well, like, I was always a bit afraid to play big minions because I know they were gonna get Sinful Branded and I would just die and then I couldn't play my cards properly. So I think this is, like, a very good change. The card, I don't know if it's still gonna see play, to be honest, because, like, it doesn't really do the OTK or push enough damage anymore, so maybe this archetype is not gonna be played anymore, which I am totally fine with. Let's see the dev comment. Demon Hunter is one of the few power outliers in this meta with several competitive archetypes. Sinful Brand Spell Demon Hunter is a standout within that class. Yeah, that's true. In both power and negative play experiences. Yes, that is true. This change is intended to significantly reduce the power and prevalence of that card. Okay, yeah, I agree. This is a very, very frustrating deck to play against. File Scale Evoker. Old. 5 attack, new 3 attack. Okay, so it's gonna be a 3/7 now. This is a standout card in the newly emergent Big Demon Hunter archetype. Its powerful effect makes it one of the strongest cards in the deck. Yeah, it really, really is. Doesn't also need to be a threat in its own right. We think it's really cool that Big Demon Hunter has finally become a competitive archetype, and we expect that the archetype will continue to see play after this slight adjustment. I agree. I think it will still be okay. Because, to be honest, you really only play this card to summon a big boy from your deck, right? So I don't think this needs to be a very big threat. The only thing is that if you res this now with the 5 mana spell, it's not as good anymore, right? Because now you can resurrect a 3/7 instead of a 5/7. But, I mean, overall, I think it's fine. Big Demon Hunter was starting to be very popular these days. I think this might keep it in check a little bit more. Oh, a Predation nerf too. Oh, yeah, let's go, let's go. Old, 3 mana, deal 3 damage. Cost 0 if you played a mana while holding this. New, 2 mana, deal 2. Cost 0. Okay. I like that. Because Predation, especially in combination with Steno, is so toxic. And this, at least, it takes some of the damage away. I don't know if it's gonna matter a lot. I think it can still see play. But deal 2 is definitely a big nerf though, because it makes it a bit harder to play this on a minion, because lots of minions do have like 3 health right now. 3 or more. So it doesn't clear a lot of minions anymore on its own. But I'm okay with this, I think. Let's see the comments. Lady Steno Predation combo has been used across many Demon Hunter decks for a long time. This change is intended to be a smaller adjustment across the entire class. Yep. I'm okay with it. Battlefield Necromancer, old, 3 health, new, 2 health. Oh wait, you know, I was just saying that a lot of minions have 3 health, and I was actually thinking of this minion. Because this has 3 health, and it summons a 1/3 that has 3 health as well. That doesn't change. But now this dies to Predation. This dies to Predation. Overall, like, besides the Predation stuff, I don't think it matters too much that it's 2. Like, yes, it's gonna be a bit easier to trade, but I think dropping this on 2 if you have a corpse is still gonna be strong. So, personally, I think if this is the only change for Unholy... Oh, I can see it's not. It might be fine. There's also a Blightfang nerf. Let's see. Oh, okay. Going to 4 mana. Does that impact a lot? Probably does a little bit. Let's see. Both these Death Knight cards were buffed last expansion, which was necessary when the class was struggling. However, our current balance philosophy is that balance changes are fluid adjustments over time, not decisions set in stone. Unholy Death Knight is now the strongest deck on ladder. Yep, you can see that in my previous video. So it needs to be toned back down. We're not reverting prior buffs, but trying different adjustments to weaken it slightly. Particularly in this matchup versus other aggro decks, where the deck is disproportionately powerful. Yes, true. When you are against other aggro decks or in a mirror and you play Blightfang, the game is like almost over. Because like if your opponent goes white on board and you play Blightfang and you just start trading their stuff, you get like a whole board full of taunts and it's kind of game over. Does it matter that this is 4 mana now though? I'm not sure. I think I might still want to run it in an Unholy. Like, just at least to test it out, but I feel like it might still be decent. Okay, next. High Cultist Basilev, old, 4 mana, new 5. Okay. Aggro piece is in a good spot right now at all levels of play, but especially at lower levels. This reversion of a prior buff is intended to be a small adjustment to put it back in line with other decks. We expect this deck and this card in it to remain competitive. I think it's still competitive, yeah. I haven't really been facing a lot of Undead Priests lately, but I think this is still fine. It's a bit of a nerf, but I think you can still just play this in your deck and it's still a good card. So nothing much to say about it. Anubrakan, okay, this might be an interesting one. Battlecry, gain 8 armor. Your next 3 minions this turn cost armor instead of mana. New Battlecry, gain 5 armor. Your next 3 minions this turn cost armor instead of mana. Okay, I think that's a good adjustment, because that makes it much harder for Druid to pull off these insane turns on turn 7 or 8 with Anubrakan, where you kind of lose on the spot if they go Anubrakan with like a lot of armor comboing into Zog, for example, which is mega frustrating. And also, I feel like every Druid is running this package with Anubrakan into bigger stuff, and I feel like by nerfing this, maybe people will experiment a little bit more, trying different builds of Druid. At least that's what I hope for. Because yes, this is a very frustrating card, and you never want to see it played. Let's see what the devs say. Anubrakan allows for a notably negative play experience that warps the meta around it. Yes. This change does not prevent Druid players from making their big flashy plays, but it does mean that more setup is now required. Yes, you do need to have armor already to do it. We expect this to mean fans of the deck can still play it, but its overall power, play rate, and influence on the meta will lessen. Oh yeah, I think it will definitely lessen, because now you need to have armor into the Anubrakan turn, because with 5 armor, you can't play any of the big boys. Right? So you need to set it up a few turns in advance and hope that your armor sticks. So it might actually just kill the combo. I'm fine with that. I really hate it. I really, really hate it. Okay, next, a rogue nerf. Scribbling Stenographer. Old 6 mana, new 7 mana. Okay, so +1. Think that's fair. Miracle Rogue is not a power outlier at most levels of play, but remains strong and prevalent at higher levels of play. I do see it a lot on ladder, yes. Minor adjustment to reflect its current power level and its potential power level after the adjustment to the other cards changed in this patch. Okay. Yeah, might make it a little bit harder. A little bit harder just to play it. You need to play 1 extra card on the turn to get it for 0, which is maybe quite hard. I don't mind the nerf. Miracle Rogue is still very strong. I face it quite often. Never a fun experience. Right, so now there is the buffs. Let's go. Following cards have been adjusted to be more powerful. Symphony of Sins goes from 6 mana to 5 mana. Players really love playing this card, but it's not very powerful. Yeah. This change is to make it a little more... Yeah. Okay. It is a very, very cool card. But on 6, it is so hard to play. You need to survive till then, and that's very hard for Warlock in this current meta. So I hope playing it on 5 will like maybe wanna run this now and play it in your deck. Hope it be a bit better. I think it's a really cool card, but whenever I was trying out some big Warlock or control-y Warlock, I feel like it's just too slow. So maybe it can save the cards. Oh, here's the Warrior buff, guys. From the Deads, old 4 mana. Reduce the cost of the bottom 5 cards in your deck by 3, then dredge. New 3 mana. Reduce the cost of the bottom 5 cards in your deck by 2, then dredge. Okay. Warrior has gotten more options, more power, and more play after our recent adjustments. No, it has not. But players still hunger for a slower Warrior. We're making this adjustment to a proven powerful card that we expect will see play again. I think this will see play again. I think you can play this maybe in like a slower control-y Warrior, maybe a Tony Warrior even, because you can play from the Deads and then maybe dredge a Tony, a cheap Tony into Steam Cleaner, like Tony on 4, Steam Cleaner on 5, game over. That might be frustrating, but yeah, I can see that happening. Then, oh, they're changing the riff again. Another riff. Chorus riff. Old, draw a minion, give it +2/+2, finale, player last riff. New, draw a minion, give it +3/+3. Okay. So now it's a 3 mana, draw a minion, give it +3/+3. That might make the riffs a little bit better. We recently made a few adjustments to the riff package, and those adjustments were successful in raising the play rate and power of the riffs package. Really? I haven't really seen any warriors, to be honest. But now, Chorus Riff is the weakest of the riffs, and all the riffs need to be good for the package to be good. True. This is a slight nudge to make that whole package a little stronger. I think the riffs are fine if you curve into them, like on 1, then insta on 3, followed by the next one. But overall, I'm not sure the package was strong as they say it was. I don't think it was good yet, even after the buffs. But maybe now that this one is buffed as well, might want to give it another try, but I'm not sure. Okay, here we go. Demolition Renovator. Old Battle Cry, destroy an enemy location. New tradable Battle Cry, destroy an enemy location. Okay. makes it a little bit better, because if you play this in your deck and you play against someone who doesn't run locations, this is like either a play of a 4-drop for like 4/4, like that doesn't do anything, it sucks. Now at least you can trade it and get some other cards in your hand, so that does make it better. I kinda would have liked it maybe if they gained stats for destroying a location or something like that, but I think making it tradable, you might want to put it into your deck. I'm still not even sure, but you might. Might give it a try. And then, wait, what? Rotten Applebaum? Why? Why is this here? Where does that come from? Old, 4 attack, 5 health, don't. Death Rattle, restore 4 health to your hero. New, 4 attack, 6 health. Taunt, Death Rattle, restore 6 health. Okay, so they changed the health on the cards and restore 6 health. That is a decent buff for the card. So maybe you can play this in a control-y undead package. Like, if you play it in a like slower undead priest maybe, and then you can resurrect it with Basilev? Does that work? Maybe. I think it's a bit of a random buff. Okay, let's read the comment. Demolition Renovator has never seen much play, so we wanted to make it feel a little better as a deck card option. Rotten Applebaum is getting a decent buff to add an option for slower decks that want to target aggressive strategies. Okay. I can see that. I still think it's a bit of a random card to buff. But why not, I'd say. Pandaren. Oh, is it going back to the old stats? 3 mana, 2 attack, 4 health, new, 2 mana, 1/3. Okay. Yes. Pandaren Importer was previously adjusted due to an unintended play pattern that was made possible by the smaller card pool in Standard. That was Jambra's fault. Never forget, that was Jambra's doing. Now that it is in Wild, that concern no longer exists and the prior change can be reverted. Okay. I like this card. I think it's a very cool card, and maybe now that you can play it on 2 again, you can like play it in control-ish decks, maybe in a control priest, for example. I could see it. It's fun. Like, I like discovering stuff, so for me that's fun. Oh, that was it. Okay. So these were the buffs and the nerfs, which I do think will shake up the meta. I'm really, really happy to see a Nubricon nerfed and Sinful Brand. Like, these two hopefully will kill those archetypes and make us be able to just try out some new decks that we couldn't really before because of the Druid, because of the spell DH. Let me know what you think about it, and I will make a new video tomorrow playing after the patch went live, trying to see what's good, what's not good, how the patch feels overall. But for now, thanks for watching. I wish you a good evening and have fun if you try playing the patch tonight. Bye, everyone.